Hi everyone, Joe March here, also known as Sorcerer, here to sell you on the obvious idea that you can't be happy 100% of the time, or more specifically, that you shouldn't try to be happy 100% of the time. Psychologists have found that people who try to become happy 100% of the time actually burn themselves out and make themselves more miserable. It's not achievable to do that, but seeking it actually makes you more miserable than if you just go with the flow. So what does a healthy amount of happiness look like? Well, according to the writers of The How of Happiness, it looks like this. You should spend about 40 to 60% of your time having moments of happiness, joy, satisfaction, peace of mind. I know some of you are like, wow, that's actually a lot more than I'm having. In that case, it's okay to try to make yourself a little more happy through the day, to try to find ways to improve your happiness. But beyond that, it's overkill. 30 to 40% of the day should be routine or neutral emotions, like washing the dishes or getting shit done. That's normal. You're not expected to be happy all the time. Now, you might be happy while you're doing it. Maybe you put some earbuds in and you listen to a podcast while you're doing the dishes and have some laughs or whatever, and then you're moving that into the happy portion of the day. That's cool. Sometimes you can find ways to make things more enjoyable. And if you do that, the goal should be to make this loadout, to make it like, that's to get to your 40 to 60% happiness. But there's always going to be shit you got to do that you just don't care about. And then 10 to 20% of your day is negative emotions. That's going to be like sadness, anger, frustration, etc. That's normal. And why is that important? Well, because all of our growth and transformation happens as a result of dealing with, integrating, and understanding our negative emotions and what causes them. So that's your shadow work portion of the day. Now, does every single day need to be broken up like this? No, of course not. Like, maybe you're a person who's way happier on the weekends. Maybe your weekends are fucking great, but then during the week, you don't hit this like 40 to 60%. But over the week, during the work week you don't, but over the course of the full week, if you look at it, you're kind of in these percentages, well, then you're doing great. The goal is to try to hit this if what you're looking for is maximum happiness. Because going beyond this is going to make you crazy. It's going to make you obsess about happiness and be less happy. So you should be shooting for this if happiness is your goal. If happiness is not your goal, if you're like, I'm going through some shit right now I need to process, well, then this might be flipped. Maybe you need 40 to 60% of your day dealing with negative emotions because you're going through the shit right now, or because you're pushing your growth. And then you're only going to have 10 to 20% happy, but you still need 30 to 40% routine, etc. So I think that what I'm trying to say is a third of your time should be routine neutral no matter what. And then the positive and negative is dipping around depending on what you're doing at the time. But you never want to lose 10 to 20% of either side of that. Because you should always be growing, even when you're in your happiest. And you should always be a little happy to keep yourself propelled toward growth. Because if you're not happy at all, you're not going to give a shit about growing. You need both. But it doesn't need to be 50-50. And that's the thing I think people get wrong. They'll be like, everything is balanced. So 50% of the time I should be happy, and 50% of the time I should be sad. No, a third of the time is neutral. Please. It's obvious when you think about it. Just a third of the time is neither. And then the other two, it's not a third and a third. You can wibble wobble them, but there's limits. Like, if you want to be the happiest possible, don't aim for more than 40 to 60% happy, and aim for 10 to 20% negative. Like, try to hit these numbers. And what I want you to see is, if you think you're not quite in this area and if you're trying too hard for one or the other, maybe you ease it back. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I need strife. I need all this sadness in order to grow. And you're like going way over the 40 to 60%. And anytime you're happy, you're like, no, I can't let myself be happy. Chill out and stop that shit. Let yourself be happy for at least 10 to 20% of the time. And if you're the other way and you're like, I need to think positive only. I'm part of the new age movement that says everything needs to be positive thinking and that's it. And there's no way. If I feel a negative emotion, I'm doing it wrong. Fuck off. That's wrong. 10 to 20% of your time should at least be negative emotion. I think if you follow this, then you're going to find that this is fucking great. This is like actually attainable, and it actually engages you in the human experience. Now, everybody's going to say, this is obvious shit. That's what I said right off the tip. But why is it important to remind ourselves of this once in a while? Because we get caught up trying to change our own reality and be like, oh man, I'm not doing it right. That we're getting our own heads. Stop doing that shit. If you're somewhere around these percentages, you're great. If you're flipping them, but you know you're doing it on purpose, you're fine. All that's good. If you're having something major emotional go up and they're flipped, that's fine. That's temporary, that's for now, but you're still kind of keeping some form of balance there. The balance doesn't have to be equal. The balance doesn't have to be every day. It just all needs to exist so you can be truly fully engaged in life. We're going to try something new today. We're going to keep it short and simple. So on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, obvious lesson about the obvious shit we all forget to do. And until next time, safe travels.